Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is the case of the Idaho Moscow quadruple murders. ETAN Chipin and XANA Knodel were freshmen. They were dating, and they looked like they were really happy with each other's company. May they rest in peace. Condolence to their families. And rest in peace, Kaylee and Maddie. Morgan, condolence to their families too. We always talk about the fact that it was Maddie or Kaylee Congalvis that were the targets. But we need to remember that the police had the timelines of Kaylee and Maddie from the beginning. The chief reached out to the public after the quadruple murders, I believe a week after it happened. They were asking the public to give them information of the timeline of XANA and ETAN. We know that XANA and ETAN were in a party at the Sigma Chi. That is a fraternity that ETAN belongs to. And XANA was well known there. We've allegedly heard that there was a fight between ETAN and some other fraternity boys, and that XANA was trying to stop it. That hasn't been confirmed, I believe, but we've heard that. So did something happen that caused someone to take revenge? Possibly. Could the boys that ETAN fought with, could they have come back to the house, to XANA's house, and taken revenge? It's just a question. The reason that I'm looking at this direction is because let's not forget, the alcohol body cam stop, the police body cam for the 4 boys, 3 were minors, was around 3:12. Then we had the figures running towards the Sigma Chi. And it looked like they were coming from Kings Road, from the victim's house. The police has never confirmed the timeline or what they know of the whereabouts of ETAN and XANA. Where were they between 9:45 to 1:45 at night till they came home? Did someone follow them home? Could somebody have been waiting for them at home? Because although I hate to say this, we've heard the dashcam recording from the neighbors where we could hear ETAN say, "XANA!" He was yelling XANA. He meant, "XANA, get out, they're here." So was it someone they knew? Why are we so focused that Maddie and Kaylee Congalvis were the targets? Let's not forget XANA fought for her life. So was it someone she knew? Just a question. We need to focus on the whereabouts of XANA and ETAN too. The fraternity boys in Sigma Chi are not angels. Let's not forget that. We've seen enough pictures in the beginning of them playing around with knives, taking pictures with knives and masks and such things. They could have easily been involved. There was too much going on that night. And there were too many people that were ruled out too quickly. I'm concerned if Brian Koberger is not the person who did this and he walks, then it could be too late to get justice for these students because it's almost a year. All the usual suspects have moved to different areas and we don't even know if their DNA was taken. This is really sad. I believe whoever did this quadruple murders knew the house. I don't mean from the outside like Brian Koberger. I mean literally inside the house, because this house is kind of confusing. It has several layers, and I believe whoever did this is somebody who knew the house and somebody who knew Murphy. I can count a dozen of people who know Murphy. Kaylee, all her roommates, Adam, Jack, maybe John Showalter, Emma Bailey, Hunter Johnson, everyone who's been inside that house knows Murphy. So it was somebody who knew Murphy, because Murphy wasn't barking a lot. He was just barking when the thud was heard. In XANA's room. May she rest in peace. This is heartbreaking. ETAN was a triplet. I can imagine how his brother and sister feel. Every day growing up without their older brother because he was born a minute before them. ETAN actually spent his last couple of hours before he got killed with his brother and sister and XANA in the Sigma Chi, and he went to a party or celebration for where his sister was attending. I admire them for being so strong to continue going to Idaho, Moscow. Imagine every day they look out of the window and see that house and they know their brother was killed there. ETAN suffered a lot through this horrific killings. He got they sliced his neck. So I'm sure that was a K-bar knife. Even in his final moments, he was saying, XANA, XANA, trying to warn XANA to run for her life. He didn't bother about his own. They all are heroes, and ETAN was a hero. ETAN didn't even live there. That's the reason I wonder if someone from Sigma Chi came to take revenge. Just asking that question. I've said many times before, we need to think out of the box. We can't just... Sometimes you can't just go by the book. You can't just read a textbook and say, you know everything. Example of therapy. But as a therapist, you need to engage with your clients. The more clients you have with different mental illnesses, the more experience you get. When the prosecution is only giving us half of their homework, they're not willing to share the roadmap of how they got to Brian Christopher Kohlberger. They ruled out everyone else in the college. Doesn't make sense. Although we were seeing fishy characters in the grub truck, Inan Harsh, telling us exactly how a crime could have been committed in this house, that you could go from the hide, like wait for it's late, that's what he said, and then go around the trees and bushes and then go inside through the sliding door. He said the doors and the windows are never locked. So you have people actually who are more indulged in this case than Brian Kohlberger. And the reason I say that ETAN and XANA could be the targets is look at all the blood, I hate to say this, that was pouring out to the floor, that it literally came outside the floor. Another thing that I've noticed that has never sat right with me is the ladder you see on the corner has never sat well with me, because it's right under XANA and ETAN's bedroom. That ladder, I believe, was used for a purpose to climb up, and maybe the windows were open. Because I'm sure when people are partying and drinking and smoking and all, they keep their windows open at times. It wasn't still snowing. Why wasn't that ladder ever taken for evidence to check if there was DNA there? This corner of the house, near this corner, is where Mr. Inan Harsh lives. I would love to know if his room window can see the backyard of the students, because he keeps on talking about them having parties in the backyard and all. He knows how to get through the house by saying the killer would have come from the sliding door. He seems to know all the entrances and the exits of the house, I'm just saying, more than anyone else. BK's car, allegedly, which was his car, pinged near the girl's house for a couple of minutes. Was he the driver? Allegedly. Was he there just peeping? Allegedly. We don't know. And I don't think we'll ever know, because the prosecution isn't putting up this information. I know everything's on gag order, but why aren't they giving it to the defense and Taylor? How is she supposed to defend her client? It sounds like, I hate to say this is the first time I'm going to say it, but is this a cover-up? Are they pinging it on BK? Because if it was BK, they would have had better DNA, solid DNA, because this is a quadruple murder. I'm sure they have other evidence, but why aren't they putting it out? Why are they playing silly Roman games? 4 innocent victims have been brutally murdered in this house. May they rest in peace. They deserve correct justice, proper justice. So does their families. And on top of that, even if they're going to take genealogical DNA evidence, didn't the FBI and the police think that this will be going to trial? This is a real profile case. Why couldn't they take a couple of more of swab DNA? They took one. We heard that in court.